I have 3 points there, only because they're just the essence of what I think I experienced, and I really wanted to give you guys a more heartfelt sort of a talk. There is advice baked in, yes, of course, I have to comply with the theme, but the idea here is that, like I said, it's coming from a place of empathy. Like, I know what it's like to have been there. And there are 2 tough acts that I have to follow. So I'm trying to raise the bar here from myself, all right? So, I think my academic training, I think, really satiated my curiosity as a scientist. I think I was born to be a scientist. I really believe that. I was always a very curious individual, gravitated towards knowledge, and today I'm on doing, Wikipedia dives on the phone until 3 in the morning, right? So that's exactly, we're all subject to that, it happens, that's fine. So yes, satisfied my curiosity, I can work, I have these academic skills, it's all good. But so what, right? So when we talk about impact and translating it to industry, for example, there's this huge gap, and I felt like my academic training to that extent had let me down. I didn't really have the skills I needed to transition to industry. It just didn't make sense. There was this, like, what do I do next? How do I figure this out? I was stuck with 2 very bleak options. And I say bleak, and I'm unapologetic about it now because I can own it. I had 2 options on the table. I either take up a postdoctoral position and continue the academic way of doing things, or I go back to my country. And here I have sacrificed, just like Claudine was saying, a lot. I've given up, family. I've sacrificed my girlfriend at the time. She was in a long-distance relationship. There was just being in a different place, in a different context. You've trained, you've got the PhD, and it's like, what? Like, you hit a roadblock, right? And you're laughing because it's true, because you feel it. And so, like I said, the underlying theme is probably empathy. So I was desperate. I really did not know what I needed to do, but I knew that there had to this. This is not sustainable. And there was no way I was going to, after so many years, and I'd worked prior to going to my PhD, so there was no way I was going to continue this thing of, another postdoctoral thing, get married. We talked about people who have houses and stuff and tentative funding. I mean, that's not a conversation you should be having with yourself. You need some sort of surety. And then, you're also tainted by your entitlement, okay? That is undeniable. You've trained so much, and you're like, I should be getting the jobs. The jobs should be just landing in my lap, right? I have a PhD. Of course I'm going to get a job. I mean, come on, really? So that was, I think that was an anchor in a bad spot in the ocean, where I really had, I think, the wrong mindset. And then this term of alternative careers started coming about, and people would talk about, you could go into like consulting. Oh, what's that? But the paradigm has shifted. Today, I think academia is the alternate career, because if you were to even randomly poll your cohort or your graduating batch, just like I did, in about 200 people across multiple programs, in a span of about a year and a half of people graduating within each other, 2 people are on the tenure track. After 5 years, everybody else has transitioned to non-academic roles. So this thing of alternative careers and going to industry or going to consulting as being an alternative career, it's a complete lie. Please don't believe it. That is the truth of it, okay? So that was my darkest hour, and it's such another clickbaity slide title, but I'm really trying to shake things up a little bit and say that it was extremely depressing. Mental health just through the drain, just horrible. And so how do you bootstrap yourself, right? You have to find something to latch onto and then sort of iterate over. So that's kind of what I did, and obviously there are milestones, cheeky conversations with folks, maybe really tentatively believing what the paradigm can be, which is to say, okay, what, if nothing else has worked, can I maybe try this and see if it does, right? So you start sort of empirically testing your employability and your future employment. So that's where you're transferring your mindset as a PhD, as a scientist, to your job hunt. You're applying those same project management skills in your job hunt.